Imagine getting sent out of a stadium because of toilet paper, or an armband that almost started World War III. These are the banned equipment in football. And just wait till you see the stuff Neymar wore that almost got him kicked off La Liga. But first is the popular trend that got wiped out back in the day. In the mid-2010s, football fashion was becoming a popular trend in the game, and players were pulling up the training with all sorts of crazy stuff. But there was one thing in particular that people couldn't seem to take their eyes off, because it was pretty cool. Notice that black bulky stuff on Tevez's neck? They're called snoods. At first, it was mainly Carlos Tevez that stepped out in this. But when ballers like Samir Nasri and Marwan Chamakh started copying Tevez and wearing the snoods to games, FIFA decided to discuss the whole thing. So they called up a meeting behind closed doors, and a few hours later, they announced their decision. There was not even a debate about it, because this is not part of the equipment, and it can be dangerous. You could risk hanging yourself. Seriously? Nah, even my kid bro isn't buying that excuse, and he's 6. But they decided to stick to their decision, and unfortunately, snoods aren't allowed in the game anymore. So if you attempt pulling up to a match in that, the ref's going to ask you to take it off. And if you thought the FIFA ban on snoods was crazy, check out the stuff Neymar wore that almost cost him a game. Back in 2015, Neymar was on a roll. He was in the best form of his career, and his performances week in and week out had people comparing him to the legendary Ronaldinho. Kinda feels like Neymar took these comparisons way too seriously, because he then decided he wasn't just going to play like Ronaldinho, but he wanted to dress like him. So in a game against Villarreal, Neymar came out rocking one of Ronaldinho's signature accessories, a Nike headband. But immediately, the ref Clos Gomez spotted it. He had a few words for the Brazilian superstar, and in summary, he told Neymar he couldn't wear the headband in the game because it was banned due to publicity reasons. Neymar didn't want any trouble, because together with Messi and Suarez, they formed a deadly trio and had been preparing all week for this one. So he took it off and hasn't worn headbands ever since. Damn, wonder what the fuss with bands is all about. This next one almost started World War III. As part of the campaign to accept diversity and allow different beliefs into the game, a lot of clubs started accepting One Love signs and accessories into their stadiums. And it was even being used in the Premier League on special occasions. But in preparation for the 2022 World Cup, England and a couple of other countries like Germany, Netherlands, and Denmark were all planning on wearing the armband to protest Qatar's laws against same-sex relationships. Now, this one was pretty controversial, because even though the World Cup was going to be full of different countries coming together, the Qatari guys still maintained that they weren't going to accept it, and that any country that tried to wear it would be banned from playing in the World Cup. After battling out for days, the countries all planning on wearing the armband decided to back off and allowed FIFA and Qatar to ban the One Love armband from the 2022 World Cup. I don't even know about this one. It's a whole load of drama. Just like the 2018 version, with another familiar face attached to it. England again. This time, in the 2018 World Cup opening game, a couple of English players like Dele Alli and Eric Dyer were spotted wearing different brands of socks in games, all thanks to the kit-up brand True Socks. But it gets even worse, because the organizers realized that Dele Alli, Eric Dyer, and Raheem Sterling had all been wearing Devin May True Socks over their official Nike socks, and ignored a warning from FIFA to stop. So in response to this, FIFA issued an official statement and banned the English FA £70,000 for members of the team continuing to display unauthorized branding. Sounds to me like these dudes are just looking for an excuse to take the drip out of the game, man. Because if I'm being honest, this ain't the first time. I'ma head back a couple of years for this one. Before the start of the 2017-18 season, Premier League teams were really popular for some special pitch designs. Clubs like Leicester City, Southampton, and even Arsenal all had special pitches that drew the attention of fans and even the players too. It all made for a great scene on match days. But at the start of 2017-18, the buzzkills in FIFA struck again. Pitch patterns and designs will no longer be allowed in the Premier League in 2017-18. Rules state that the playing surface must contain no markings other than the traditional horizontal and white lines. What really happened was the FA trying to amend the Premier League's rule for pitches so it could look like that of UEFA. Because according to them, the special pitch designs were making some areas of the pitch almost invisible. And while they do have a point, it's still a buzzkill. But sometimes, some of the banned stuff in the game is actually necessary. Because if Sir Alex didn't ban this next accessory, it could have ended a legend's career. With the new design on football boots becoming a popular theme, boot brands like Nike and Adidas started creating custom-made cleats for players, with special editions like bladed studs. Now, the legendary Sir Alex Ferguson wasn't a fan of these designs, particularly because he felt they were dangerous and all. But he still allowed some of his players to wear them, until something so tragic happened, he changed his mind immediately. In 2005, Manchester United captain Roy Keane got injured and was out for 2 months because of a broken bone on his foot from a tackle with a dude wearing bladed studs. And Sir Alex was pissed. The shot of the injury shows the shape of a bladed stud on Roy's foot. The bladed studs are a danger. We have strong views about this. We don't allow our players to wear them, as they can cause serious injuries. Safe to say Sir Alex didn't like the bladed boots. And yup, they got banned by the club. At least Sir Alex and Manchester United were just trying to protect their players, just like Spurs back in the day. Except their own version was completely comical. He's probably more popular now for his appearances on Match of the Day on BBC. But back in the 1990s, Gary Lineker was like the Harry Kane of English football, only with better hair. But seriously, Lineker was a goal poacher back in the day. But something crazy happened in the 1990 World Cup that almost defined his career. Lineker admitted that he had to use the toilet to drop a number 2 during a World Cup match. And after coming out with his truth, some section of the Tottenham Hotspur fans began to bring toilet paper into the stadiums and throw them at Gary Lineker in games. Lineker saw the funny side of it and even joined in the whole thing. But once the Tottenham board realized it was beginning to get out of hand, they decided enough was enough and banned supporters from bringing tissues into the games. Now, the only tissues allowed in stadiums are the ones in the restrooms. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the funniest ban I've heard in a long time. But this last one has nothing funny to it, man. Because if FIFA didn't act real quick, it could have killed ballers on the pitch. With football and fashion becoming a new trend in the modern game, some ballers have decided to take that extra drip to a new level. In the early 2000s, it was very common to spot ballers like Ronaldinho pulling up the stadiums with jewelry and chained accessories, but they never wore them onto the pitch because of the rules. See guys, the rules of football clearly state that any type of jewelry that could potentially cause injury or give an unfair advantage isn't allowed. And this is clearly to protect the players, because any clash with the sharp resources used to make the jewelry could lead to serious bleeding or even death. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule, because after some married ballers pointed out that they didn't like taking their wedding rings off, FIFA decided that footballers who are married could use tapes on their fingers to indicate they had partners in the game. Not exactly a like-for-like replacement, but hey, They're just trying to look out for these dudes' lives, man. Just like I'm trying to look out for yours by hitting you with the link to Goal Zone. There's a ton of awesome content on the channel. And you know the best part? All you gotta do is hit the subscribe button to get hooked in. Not even FIFA can ban this type of fun.